Alrighty, good evening everyone, and I am back. My goal is to have everyone as versed as much as they can in how to answer these questions on this exam. So if you were on the study meet on yesterday, you know that we had a very good conversation about anorexia nervosa and bulimia nervosa. But if you missed the study meet, now is your chance to understand how to answer these questions when it comes to identifying these two diagnoses on the MFT National Exam. So in this video, watch it all the way until the end, because at the end I have some great exam tips for you to pay attention to when it comes to answering these questions for these two diagnoses. So I'm going to go through a few questions and then I am going to discuss the exam tips. So let's watch this. So this first question says, a 22-year-old client, BMI of 16.7, daily calorie restriction, and she has a fear of gaining weight. She believes her thighs are huge. So we're just looking at these specifiers right here, right? And even though she may be emaciated, what do we think is the accurate DSM-5 diagnosis? What do we think it's going to be? Is it going to be A, body dysmorphic disorder, B, bulimia, anorexia, or obsessive compulsive disorder? So let's take a deep dive at some of these responses. So we have A, we have body dysmorphic disorder. Now, if you are going to choose a response for body dysmorphic disorder, it must say in the vignette something about a person that constantly needs reassurance on how they look, such as mirror checking or something like that, looking at themselves in the mirror all the time. And then we have bulimia nervosa. Now, if we're going to choose a response that has something about bulimia nervosa, we need to be checking about the weight that is being included, such as a normal weight. Or sometimes I've seen questions that said the person is overweight, right? So, but then when we look at D, it says obsessive compulsive disorder. Nothing up there tells me anything about OCD, so we automatically get rid of it, right? But when we look at C, anorexia nervosa, we've got some huge red flags right there for it, because there's that BMI. The BMI is too low, right? It tells me that this person is underweight. And she also has a fear of gaining weight. So automatically we're going to know that this answer is going to be C, anorexia nervosa. Now, so let's take a look at this next one. It says a college student eats large amounts of food in secret, and then she induces vomiting to prevent weight gain. She is of normal weight. Let's take a look at that. Make sure you look at that too. She expresses dissatisfaction with her body shape. So we have responses that say anorexia nervosa, binge eating, purging type. Can it be that one? Probably not, because she's of normal weight. And when we see something about anorexia, we need to be paying close attention to how underweight that person might be. So then we also have B, bulimia nervosa. We have C, binge eating disorder. So C is automatically going to be knocked out, right? Because we need to be seeing something that's talking about binge eating, and there's a amount of time that must occur in a week, and none of that is mentioned in this vignette, right? So then we also have anorexia nervosa, atypical type. But we're going to knock that out because we automatically know that's not anorexia. So this answer is in fact B, bulimia nervosa. We've got some normal weight, right? But she's inducing some vomiting, which means she has some compensatory behaviors that are going on. And I think I found the answer in the rationale for this one, because I want everybody to understand that this separates bulimia nervosa from anorexia nervosa. So bulimia nervosa requires the eating and the compensatory behaviors with the normal or above normal weight, right? If the individual is underweight, typically it is going to qualify for anorexia nervosa. And I want everybody to keep that in mind when it comes to answering these questions. So let's look at this next one. A 20-year-old woman engages in daily self-induced vomiting after eating small meals. She reports intense fear of weight gain, but denies eating unusually large amounts of food. Her weight is significantly below normal. So what is going to be the appropriate diagnosis? The first one is right out the park. It says bulimia nervosa, but we got to get rid of that one, right? And we know why we need to get rid of that one. And we'll find out more. Like once you get to see these questions and how they're worded, you'll be able to just knock them like just right out. So then B says anorexia nervosa, binge eating, purging type. Okay, let's come back to that one. It said C, purging disorder. Is that a DSM-5 diagnosis? So D says body dysmorphic disorder, and he keep throwing this body dysmorphic disorder in there just to try to throw you, but stay the course. Let's go back to B, anorexia nervosa with binge eating, purging type. There's two different subtypes of anorexia nervosa, and we'll take a deep dive into those at another time. I'm not trying to confuse anybody. I'm just trying to keep this simple and easy for identifying anorexia nervosa in these questions when it comes to answering them on the MFT National Exam. Because in this question, just like the prior one to anorexia nervosa, we see what? That weight is sticking out to us, that significantly below normal weight. It's always going to pave way to anorexia nervosa. So let's look at this next question. A 28-year-old woman admits that she is underweight and says, I know that this is dangerous, but I can't stop restricting calories. She has regular thoughts about being fat and engages in daily calorie counting. Her BMI is 17.0. What is her DSM-5 diagnosis? So automatically, we're getting rid of B. We know what OCD is. Anorexic disorder is not a diagnosis. We got to get rid of D automatically because look at her BMI. Look at her weight. It's just sticking out to us, right? So automatically that answer is going to be A, anorexia nervosa. Now watch this next one. A 19-year-old reports she eats large quantities of food in a short period, followed by self-induced vomiting. She expresses intense dissatisfaction with her body and a fear of weight gain. Her BMI is 22. So this question is so different from those anorexia nervosa questions, right? So different. So it just sticks out to us. Look at that weight gain. Look at that number, that BMI number that sticks out like a sore thumb. It's not going to be A. You can't say binge eating disorder, right? And I'm not going to confuse anybody. I'm not going to start teaching about a new disorder. So we're just going to move on to, again, this answer is B, bulimia nervosa. The BMI tells us that this is bulimia nervosa. Can't be anorexia because what? Look at her BMI. She's not underweight. She's at the right weight size, right? She's at her correct size, right? And D, we already know, body dysmorphic disorder, nothing up there accounts for body dysmorphic disorder, so we kick it out. We get rid of it, right? Now watch this one. Let's look at this one. A 22-year-old reports eating large amounts of food in one sitting, followed by vomiting 3 times per week. 3 times per week. She feels out of control during binges and is highly self-critical of her body. Her BMI is 21. Again, look at that number. There's that 21, that BMI number that sticks out to us, right? Bulimia not specified, says D. What is that? Get rid of it. We don't know what that is. Again, can't be anorexia. Her BMI is too normal. It's going to lead us straight to our answer, which is going to be A, bulimia nervosa. If you don't believe me, if you are not a believer just yet in how you look at these questions and how they are answered the same way across the board, I hope everything that I have said right now has made you think clearer when it comes to answering anorexia nervosa and bulimia nervosa. So just as I promised, I told everyone I had exam tips for answering these questions, right? And if it's too much written on the screen, don't look at the screen. Just look at me. Just listen to the sound of my voice as we work through this together. So when it comes to answering questions for anorexia nervosa, you are always going to need to know the core DSM-5 criteria that fit for that diagnosis. That is for any diagnosis, okay? Make sure when you are identifying for anorexia nervosa, you are paying close attention to terms that may say something like significantly low body weight, intense fear of gaining weight, or an intense fear of becoming fat. Distorted body image, but don't get that misconstrued with body dysmorphic disorder. That's one of the features for body dysmorphic disorder, but there are other core features that come with body dysmorphic disorder, so do not stray the course. Stay on the course. If you see anything about a BMI that is 18.5 or less, typically it's going to be anorexia nervosa. If it's normal or alrighty, so here it is for bulimia nervosa. Key differences between anorexia and bulimia is going to be the what? The weight that we must pay attention to. If you are answering a question that involves bulimia nervosa, you're always going to look for something that says normal or above normal weight. Anorexia is always going to be underweight, significantly low weight. Again, know your key features to these DSM-5 diagnoses, right? So bulimia, you're most likely going to see in a vignette or scenario that a person is eating large amounts of food and they don't have control in like a short period of time, right? They're going to have those compensatory behaviors such as the vomiting, the excessive exercise, and the fasting because they are attempting to control their body weight. Again, the body image distortion, stay the course. It is not body dysmorphic disorder unless they have other features that are being mentioned in that vignette, right? So when we look at bulimia, these behaviors have to occur at least once per week for 3 months. If they say once per week for 3 months, it's normal and above normal body weight, eating large amounts of food, most likely the answer is going to be what? Bulimia nervosa. The difference between anorexia and bulimia, you're going to be looking for those weight gain words that they're talking about. The weight gain, above weight, normal weight, bulimia. Significantly underweight, you are going to be looking at anorexia. If you are not persuaded that these questions are answered the same exact way, please drop a comment. Let me know how you feel about how I explained this. I hope that this video helps you all get a better understanding to answering these questions when it comes to the MFT National Exam, because they are answered the same way across the board. Stay the course. Do not stray from the course. If there are other specifiers in there that leads you to bulimia and you know normal above weight is bulimia, the answer is most likely going to be bulimia. If they're significantly underweight and they have that BMI that is showing you a BMI of 15, 16, or 17, it cannot be bulimia. It will have to be anorexia nervosa. I hope this video has helped each and every one of you. Leave a comment. Let me know how you're feeling when it comes to these two diagnoses. I hope I have made it clear for each and every one of you. Please let me know. I will talk to you all soon.